Hey guys, today Hack and I are going to discuss weathering and erosion and find some examples. First, weathering is the breaking of rocks and minerals through chemical and physical processes. Let's start with chemical weathering. Chemical weathering is a process where ores, such as iron, mixes with water and air until it begins to rust and weaken the rock. Also, certain minerals will oxidize and become brittle. Gaps may form, allowing water to fill the voids left behind, which leads us to the physical process. Did you know that water is one of the only liquids that expands as it freezes? Over time, as the water goes through a process of thawing and freezing, it naturally expands the gaps until the rock breaks. Up here is another form of breaking. Come on! Okay, another form of weathering is called root pry. Here, tiny seeds get blown in onto rocks. As the seeds sprout, the roots go on a mission to find nutrients. They slowly force their way through the rock. The rock begins to break more and more as the root thickens. Come on! Probably the best example of physical weathering is found under cars. Water is constantly seeping into cracks on the road. When the temperature drops low enough, the water freezes and expands. This force causes pavement to break, leaving us with potholes. Come on! Now for erosion. Erosion is the movement of broken material. We are going to look at 4 physical forces that wear away the Earth's surface and redistribute soil, rock, and minerals. The first of these forces is glacial erosion. During the last ice age, glaciers shaped much of the land we recognize today. See, they actually slowly creep across the land, grinding the surface like sandpaper and moving sediment underneath it. Sometimes they can even plunk large sections of rock called moraines and deposit them in the middle of nowhere. Come on! The next 2 forces are probably more obvious. When a rock breaks on the side of a mountain, where is it going to go? Down! This is the invisible force of gravity moving broken material. Water will then pick up this material and move it again. Water is a powerful source and over time can shape canyons and valleys and coastlines. Hey look, there's some future root rock. Come on! Hey guys, Hack and I are at the Clark Fork River near Missoula, Montana. This river was named for William Clark of the westward explorers Lewis and Clark. During the last ice age, about 20,000 years ago, the Cordilleran Ice Sheet etched through this area and formed ice dams that created the glacial Lake Missoula. The melting of these dams sent water flooding through these valleys, eroding the mountains. Behind me you can see the incredible power of both glacial and water erosion. Come on! Coastal erosion is a natural process created by currents and waves that results in the loss of sediment. Over the past 2 decades, there's been a dramatic increase in coastal erosion. due to sea levels rising and storm frequency. This is unfortunately consistent with the rise in global temperatures. In fact, the U.S. National Research Council projects, with the current amount of CO2 in our atmosphere, that our sea level will rise between 22 and 79 inches in this century. Come on! The last force of erosion is also invisible, but very powerful. It is wind. Wind has helped shape our land over time, especially in areas where there are no trees, like the desert. See, trees not only block wind, but their roots hold soil in place. It's true that wind is responsible for much of our land degradation, but occasionally it's also responsible for much of its beauty. Come on!